Sure, thanks a lot. Matthew Lee, Intercity Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Thanks for doing the briefing, even on your last day. Much hats off to you. I mean, in your job. I wanted to ask you about I'm sure you've seen the audit report about UNSOS and environmental problems. And I wanted to, it seemed pretty damning, and many people were surprised after what happened in Haiti with MINUSTA that this level of seeming inattention could take place. They talked about untreated waste. They talked about danger to the population. So I wanted to know, since you were there, maybe it's too dangerous to do it. What happened that so many years after the UN supposedly learned a lesson of bad sanitation practices in Haiti, leading to the death of 10,000 people by cholera, that what is alleged to have happened took place in UNSOS?
Yeah, I mean, certainly the OIOS report raised any number of concerns, but I want to highlight that these had been identified, as was written in the response to the report. There was action that was being taken even before that report was done. First, at the time that UNSOS came into play in 2015, we have to look back and think of the fact that a lot of what UNSOS did in the beginning, or UNSOA, was actually being done from Nairobi and Mombasa. So the combat activities that initially happened on the ground, have taken time for the displacement of al-Shabaab, the African Union forces to move out, and in some cases it was and still is a very dangerous environment, and it's taken time to get people out there. UNSOA, which became UNSOS, then made a concerted effort to get more people onto the ground in Mogadishu, along with some out in the regions. So the analysis has been done about, what were the environmental impacts, and you're correct that, the lessons learned in the past were to look at how we can improve the situation in Somalia. And steps were being taken to put this in place. It was noted that staff are being recruited for both environmental, occupational health and safety, and so forth to bring in, as well as increasing funding in the budget. Even things like the wastewater treatment plants that are now being dispersed. At the moment, one of the problems that you face in Somalia is the movement on the roads because of the al-Shabaab techniques of using IEDs, remotely controlled or command detonated improvised explosive devices on the roads. So that forces very much to be deployed by air. And that also takes longer and is more timely to get a lot of these things in place. So, perhaps some of this could have been done a little bit faster, but steps have been put in place to move this forward and correct and to fix these. Also keeping in mind that that AMISOM is an African Union force, and we're working in partnership to make sure they are at the right level and right standards and bring in the equipment that we've got. So I think the steps have been taken to correct this, but Somalia is a very dangerous and complex environment, and that has led to some of the delays in getting this thing in place.
I just wanted to ask one follow-up, just because it goes directly to safety. It seemed like the reasoning given for not having even monitored how much used oil was being held by the contractor was that it was too dangerous to go out and get the records from the contractor's office. So the question arises, why didn't the contractor bring it to UNSOS? Or was it too dangerous to bring even...
Yeah, no, I saw that in one of the reports. Yeah, and I get the point. I don't know that there is a good answer for that, and maybe there was just a lapse in asking him to exactly do that. What I would say is that as we're moving forward here, a lot of effort has been made to get this whole thing brought online and brought up to a higher standard, and I think we're making good progress there.
Okay.
Evelyn?
Thank you. Evelyn Leopold. There have been a lot of attacks lately in Kabul, suicide bombings, and before that, other threats and deaths. What kind of pressure does it put on your projects? Are you among the first responders, or how do you cope with that? Or you don't?
Well,